Good afternoon, everybody. It is Wednesday, March 8th, 2 p.m. Eastern. Thanks for joining me here. We got some crypto to check in on. Currently watching the S&P 500 and NASDAQ, trying to get a little bit of a bounce going. I've got a trade on, looking for NVDA to try and be an hourly bull flag, but the NASDAQ is real weak. So NVDA is a potential hourly cup and handle, but that's only going to play out if QQQ can shift this momentum and set an hourly higher low compared to the low of the day. Pretty much need the bulls to show up now and control the next 2 hours of trading if that NVDA trade is going to play out. We'll look at crypto in just a moment. But my stop is set at break even. Just buying support, flipping into the bounce, and stop is under 237.75 right now. Got about a 40% position remaining. So sold 2/3 of it to allow for risk-free. So I don't have high conviction that that's going to play out, but as traders, all I'm trying to do is put myself in a scenario of low risk, potentially high reward, and that's where we stand. Can't lose. I like that. But also not a high conviction trade as far as going against QQQ short-term momentum right now. Only 35 viewers. Is this public? That doesn't seem right. Bear with me. As I mentioned in the broader market video yesterday, we've got a whole bunch of social media stuff. Also not. We've got Twitter. Make sure you're following us. Long story short, make sure you're following us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, pretty much putting out content on all these different platforms. I know it would be nice to have everything all centralized in one place. I don't want to be on these platforms any more than you, but it's the way the game goes. So playing around with Instagram stories, sometimes I like it. Sometimes it's frustrating and annoying, but it is what it is. We'll see how long I can keep it up. So S&P 500, bears continue to keep control on the daily time frame, pulling back now for our second day in a row. Still watching, can the bulls form a daily higher low compared to 392.33? If they can, we're going to look for a tightening range because the pullback of this daily consolidation is over 60%. That's more retracement than the bulls would like to see. The NASDAQ is much less retracement. The NASDAQ is holding on a lot stronger than the S&P 500. So watching to see, can the NASDAQ bulls lead the way here and set a daily higher low to try and shape up a trend change? And that's why the NASDAQ bulls need this hourly higher low to form now before the end of the day here. Overall, the dollar is holding strong. 4-hour higher low is trying to form here. The daily chart had a key double bottom, and Powell yesterday had a bearish reaction in the market, and the dollar double bottomed at support and headed to higher highs. So we know, generally speaking, a strong dollar is bearish for stocks and crypto, and so the dollar is still strong up at the highs. Let's see if there's an uptrending resistance line that we can be watching. The 12-hour. Nah, well, maybe, let's see. This is how I would draw it. Don't think we came into play there on that last move up. A little bit of a channel to be watching. Anyways, I just care about the daily uptrend on the dollar as the most important time frame for me. I'm not really zoomed in on it, but just recognizing the dollar hit the higher high. So Bitcoin. The Bitcoin bears still have complete control. And no matter how you slice it, the daily, the 12-hour, the 4-hour, the hourly, it's been full bear control for 2 weeks. Ever since we rejected from 25.2, the resistance level that everybody was watching, and that bears successfully defended. So the only hope for the bulls right now, if we're going to hold our weekly support, and the only uptrend we have right now is a weekly uptrend. Every other time frame is in a downtrend. If we're going to hold 21.3 and set a weekly higher low, the bulls need this to be a 12-hour falling wedge on Bitcoin. And in the last video, the last live stream on Monday, started talking about some of the altcoins that were shaping up falling wedges. And at that point in time, I was not watching Bitcoin as a falling wedge because it didn't have much shaping up. But as soon as we see this bear flag confirm on the daily time frame and drop to a lower low and a lack of follow through, we know the hallmark of a wedge is when you see a break with a lack of follow through. So as soon as Bitcoin breaks support and gets that lack of follow through, that's when I say, okay, let's see if there's a potential falling wedge shaping up. Again, it's not a high conviction setup here for a bull. It's really just putting on bull glasses, saying, all right, I've been bearish, for a couple weeks here. The bears have complete control. The bulls haven't shown me a thing. Let's put on the bull glasses. This is what would have to happen if the bulls are going to prove anything to us. And at the moment, they're still not proving anything to us. We had an hourly inverse head and shoulders confirm straight into a big drop. Again, just bull breaks with no follow through. We're just not seeing anything from the Bitcoin bulls. 4-hour EMA 12 is rejecting the price. So we would need a quick big turnaround and a break of 22,650 for bulls to do anything on this chart. And if that does not happen, the simple statement could be if 22,650 is resistance, the bears have complete control. That's a way to view it. And then let's just say we get the bull break. Let's just say we get the ideal bull scenario and we get a bull break into the weekend. We then have to be watching whatever time frame you're on, the weekly or the 3-day or the 4-day. They're all fairly similar, just little different versions. We then have to be watching for the potential of a head and shoulders. So a lot of space. We can bounce 10% and set a lower high on the weekly or the 3-day or the 4-day time frame. This is the 3-day right now. But you can see it's nice and clear. If we hold 21.3, then we got to be watching for the potential of a head and shoulders. So the bulls don't have a clear path ahead in any way, but I would expect at least somewhat of an attempt to hold 21.3. So Bitcoin week overall. Let's talk about these crypto stocks quickly, and then we'll get into the crypto charts. So coin has had great volatility for trading in both directions. You can see we were in a tightening range and we had a bull break on Monday that lacked follow through, but there's been a pattern of morning pumps and then fading all day. And you can see this morning pump, huge move, huge fade. Another one here, this is 8 or 9% move up and then a 6% pullback. So definitely keeping an eye on coin. I've traded coin more this week than probably the entire rest of the year combined. It's essentially my focus went from trading MARA and Riot to trading coin just because it does have a little bit more volatility. But keeping an eye on it because it is sideways and looking for the break. The miners, MARA and Riot, are weaker. Remember, they had that hangover news from the SEC is talking to us. We're canceling our earnings report for now, and we're not doing a conference call. And since then, you can see it's a clear downtrend on the daily for MARA. Riot is holding on a lot better. Riot on the 2-day time frame, tightening up similarly to coin. Again, I'm just viewing this as a 2-day equilibrium and waiting for that break probably next week. GBTC. So I traded GBTC for the first time in many months yesterday. And GBTC had a little mini short squeeze. They've got the court case with the SEC. They're suing them and saying, we want to be an ETF. Why can't we, you jerks? And so there were some positive developments just in the way that the case was. I don't know any of the details. I don't care about the details. I just saw bull volume. I saw a big move up. And so that was enough for me to jump on for just some of this move up here. Nothing notable, just a little quick flip. Whenever I'm jumping into a move like that and chasing a little short squeeze, I'm instantly scaling out. So I got my fill on a market buy at 12 in the 1280s. And, I was selling at 1290 and selling at 13 and just instantly starting to exit, because the last thing I'm going to be doing is being greedy when I know I'm late on a move. I'm going to instantly start scaling out so that my cost basis, if I enter at 1280 and I exit a quarter at 1290 and a quarter at 13, my break even is now, 1265. So I then just put my stop there and can then try and let it play out a little bit longer. But I'm selling really quickly into it. But anyways, GBTC just hit the highest level that we've seen in a couple of months. And it is a double top at the high of yesterday. We only broke it by a few pennies, but keeping an eye on it. It certainly would be, if they get a win and if GBTC is going to be the ETF, it's very thinly traded. And as I watch it trade, the fills take a long time. If it becomes the first ETF, we can anticipate a nice bull move. And I would look to play that momentum. Even if it's just for the short-term move, we can expect a lot. Just watching how yesterday's price action went, the market makers were struggling to keep up with the volume. And again, it moves it's very thin. Is it OTC, right? Yeah, OTC. So OTC is thinly traded. Can't trade it in extended hours. Anyways, long story short, keep an eye on GBTC because if they get positive results, if they do become the first ETF, first things first would be a bull reaction. How it plays out long term, that remains to be seen. Depends on Bitcoin, of course, but that would be a news play that I would look to jump in on. All right before we get to the other altcoin charts, we got QQQ doing what I want. So trying to shape up this hourly high or low, NVDA, trying for this hourly bull flag, so I'm much more comfortable in my position now. And if the QQQ Bulls can control from here into the close, NVDA is an hourly cup and handle. And there's been a lot of resistance in this zone. Somebody's chopping up trees outside. You can see how many times we've rejected from this zone in the upper 230s and the low 240s. So there's potential there to see some nice short covering, but we need high volume and we need a lot of help from the broader market. All right. So we looked at Bitcoin. We know what Bitcoin needs to do, which is something, anything. It's still not doing a thing. The bears are still very comfortable in Bitcoin. If I'm a bear, again, put on my bear glasses now. I don't have a short position, but if I were bearish in Bitcoin, I'm not worried about a thing unless 22,650 breaks. ETH, similar 12-hour falling wedge. So I would draw my pivots here. I would draw my resistance. And actually, it's more like a channel here. But the downtrending support is very similar. Multiple tops at 1588. So that's the must-break level for the ETH bulls. And I do like this as a channel more than a wedge. So I'll just keep this on watch. ETH BTC got a higher high on the daily. The 2-week equilibrium continues to play out. Again, it might be another couple months, but when this breaks, you're going to hear me talking about it a whole lot. Weekly high, the 2-week higher low is set. And now we're looking at anything under 779 as a 2-week lower high. Bulls definitely want to see another leg up to try and get back to the midway point at least of that tightening range. Litecoin is continuing to stand out as a lead bear. And this was a really nice setup on a number of fronts. And again, it was just combining the US dollar pairing technical analysis with the BTC pairing technical analysis and seeing a scenario where this could be a head and shoulders, which it was. And if this is a head and shoulders, and if LTC BTC sets a weekly lower high, which it did, the Litecoin bears are gaining momentum now. And we are right on top of this weekly equilibrium breaking bear. And again, that would have Litecoin right back to being a lead bear in crypto. And we got a lot of space for lower highs on bounces. The daily RSI is approaching oversold. The 4-hour is just grinding down. It shifted from a relative strength name into a lead bear very quickly. And it has certainly been a lead bear a lot longer than it's been a lead bull. Fun fact, Litecoin, I think it might be my most profitable crypto coin. I think it's more than Bitcoin. If it's not, it's right there with Bitcoin. From 2017-18, it's Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, but pretty sure Litecoin might be my most profitable traded coin. Only going long. So what does that mean? That means I am not a bag holder if the chart looks like this. And I'm only trading in one direction. But anyways, it's weak now. So bears in full control, and we just need to fall through this support if they're going to put an exclamation mark on the setup that they've got. XRP. So I've been talking about XRP a bit. Again, I don't care at all about XRP fundamentals at all. I care more about an ant on the sidewalk outside than I care about XRP fundamentals. So just keep that in mind with anything to do with my technical analysis. And so talked about it a bit. I was on Wolf of All Streets, Melker. I did a talk with him. Was talking about the XRP BTC scenario and how I was starting to keep an eye on it. And it just was, again, a setup for a shift. XRP BTC was all bears, and then we just traded sideways, saying, okay, well, it's possible we see a shift. And I'm told XRP has a potential court case decision this month, so this has something to do with it, perhaps a little front running from bulls getting excited, or perhaps it's, shorts covering to try and take off some risk just because they don't want that exposure. But again, I was comparing it to Mana BTC and how Mana BTC was the lead bear and how it bottomed and how the volume is what stood out as the bull move took place. XRP BTC, I was pointing out how we've only seen one green day at a time on these spikes. And now we've got the ramp up in volume. We've got the multiple green days in a row. The bounce is underway. XRP BTC is attempting a monthly higher low. And you can say it's now set. We broke the high of February. So I'm viewing this as a low, high, and now a monthly higher low. So the shift is on, and now it's just a question of how long can the XRP BTC bulls hold this trend on the daily to keep this relative strength intact. And look at the 12 and 26 EMAs. They're crossing bull. They're on the verge of crossing bull for the first time in months. So the shift was underway. And the shift started in weakness. You can see we dropped to fresh lows here. The first clue on XRP USD pairing was this bounce when we had that flush triggering all the stops, and then we V-shaped back to the high. Because at that point in time, March 2nd into March 3rd, if we compare what was Bitcoin doing March 2nd into March 3rd, this was that dump. Look at this bounce. XRP did this and was trading up here. It was just a completely different bounce. That showed me that bulls were using that stop hunt to load up. And if we look at the Trader Pro here, we've got hourly abnormal volume. Abnormal volume was firing on that flush, and then it fired again on that support test, showing us high volume, an area of confluence of a lot of bull and a lot of bear volume on the chart. And then another time on the way up here. But from there, the bulls took over. So the relative strength stood out while all of crypto was weak on that Bitcoin flush. And then that relative strength continued to stand out on this bounce. And so here we are bouncing for 3 days while Bitcoin hasn't done a thing in terms of bouncing over the last 3 days. So we had a 12-hour falling wedge that we were watching, and we'll check in on a number of others that we were keeping an eye on. But this was the 12-hour falling wedge. I think this was from Monday's live stream. We drew that out, but broke bull, posted it on Twitter a little bit after that. And so now, again, how long can bulls hold the uptrend? Currently, we're seeing some consolidation. Not surprising. It's a little bit of a 30-minute equilibrium right now. Man, I'm sticking with the hourly. Hourly tightening range, where we've got our high, low, lower high, and then defending support. But it won't surprise us to see 4-hour consolidation. And the Trader Pro alert system, like remember our super stack we were talking about? The super stack from Monday. So super stack just fired overbought conditions. And so here we are pulling back. So again, that's an indication, take some profit. For an aggressive bear, it looks short, but for most part, take some profit as a bull because we are overextended. And so from that point of 398, pulled back a couple percent. And now if that hourly breaks bear, the 4-hour consolidation will be underway, and we'll look for how do oversold conditions respond. So we haven't seen first 5-minute oversold. What I want to know is first 15-minute oversold. When we see that, does that mark the 4-hour higher and low? Because that will keep the bull strong. And look what happened last time. 15-minute, RSI got down to 31, and that marked the 4-hour higher low on a bull flag, holding EMA 12 support into continuation. So again, we just remember what it was like in the days of a bull market, and we know what the RSI should be showing us if it's going to show strength. And we have to see short-term oversold conditions mark longer-term higher lows for that to continue following through. So can this move keep up? We'll see. It's positioned really well if the Bitcoin bulls can do anything. And again, it's essentially like what I just did with NVDA. QQQ was not showing us any strength, but I saw a setup where, okay, QQQ Bulls might be trying for an hourly higher low here. If they're going to set an hourly higher low, they've got to do it now. And I saw relative strength in NVDA, so I made an entry on NVDA based on its relative strength, place to stop, lower risk, and then then QQQ Bulls showed up and helped my NVDA position attempt to follow through. And so it's the same thing. XRP, relative strength. If Bitcoin Bulls can do anything over the next couple of days, XRP Bulls are positioned well for that. And we just have to ensure that that XRP BTC chart stays in an uptrend. It's in the spotlight right now. We're doing the same thing on both pairings. And bulls want to see that continue to be the case. APT USDT, we were watching that 12-hour falling wedge. It's still in play, but again, we're just grinding down. You got to be cautious of the perpetual grind down on wedges. Because if you break support and then a weak bounce, then you break support, you just got to ensure that if you are attempting to make entries, that you're maneuvering. Again, you got to maneuver. As I talked about Monday, you got to be selling partial into the pops. And you got to anticipate that there's going to be another leg down, that there's going to be another bear break. That's how I trade the wedges. Every time I'm making an entry, I'm assuming I'm not nailing the bottom, and then we're going to bounce and then drop down to another lower low. So I've got to exit some on those bounces. So here we are hitting fresh lows. And yes, the downtrending support is still holding, but just barely. And this can break bear. If Bitcoin is going to break 21.3 from here, these falling wedges are going to break bear. If Bitcoin holds 21.3, these falling wedges have a chance to break bull. Gala was the other one we were watching. And again, it's right back to support. Gotta sell partial on the bounces. And we had a nice bounce. But it rejected from resistance. So that's a bounce of, is that 10%? Yeah, it's over 10%. So definitely got to take some off into that. Give it all back. So still possible, but again, got to maneuver to remain in control of the trade. Got to have a comfortable average by partial position profit taking. All right, I'm now reading the chat. Thanks for the likes. We got some more viewers showing up. So we looked at APT. XRP standing out. Morning, Elizabeth. I guess it's not morning. SHIB. SHIB did stand out today as well. So SHIB needs to see a 4 or a 12-hour trend change from here. And it is another one that's a potential falling wedge. Again, there's a handful of them out there. Right from resistance there. So falling wedges are the only hope for the bulls here over the next number of days. But SHIB is one as well. And the reason I'm watching for falling wedges on the 12-hour, if we were in a downtrend on the weekly, daily, monthly, I wouldn't care at all about 12-hour falling wedges. But because weekly higher lows are the most likely scenario, I'm interested in 12-hour falling wedges, because a 12-hour falling wedge breaking bull could potentially be the first indication of a weekly higher low being set. And so most of the names, if you're looking at a falling wedge, you want to ensure that a weekly higher low is the most likely scenario. Gala, that's the case. Stair step up, stair step down. NVDA, trying to get to resistance. Need some QQQ help. Give me a 15-minute trend change on QQQ as a result of that bounce to set the hourly higher low. And NVDA will have a chance, but bulls got to do it from here. Thoughts on BNB BTC? Looking good. Is that a monthly? No. We're looking for a monthly higher low. It's trying to hold EMA 12, which has been holding for a long time. Weekly still weak. Daily getting to the highest level. So that's, finally seeing something. This is bulls proving something for the first time in a while. So the weekly has to shape up a trend change. Anything under 14.6 is just a lower high. But if we can shape up a weekly trend change eventually, monthly high or low, looking to try and be set here. Let's go to the 2-day time frame. It's a fallen wedge. They're everywhere. And I would have that breaking bull, but have to see, if that's going to be a clear falling wedge bull break, I need to see a number of follow-through candles here. And I need to see some increasing bull volume. So it's trying. There's some signs of life, but more is needed. When or what will I be looking for to attempt another Bitcoin swing long? Honestly, there's not really a setup that I would like here. And again, I'm normally a picky trader with crypto with a swing trade mindset, but now that I'm focused on these crypto stocks so much more this year, I'm really picky. So I know that if Bitcoin holds 21.3 and sets a weekly high or low and gets a bounce going, I'm going to be profiting from that trading the stocks. So I'm not really in any rush to get into Bitcoin itself. And again, same like GBTC, there's bullish news there. I'm going to make money on GBTC. So I'm in no rush to enter Bitcoin long. I'd like to see, if I have confidence that a monthly high or low is shaping up, I'll make an attempt at a monthly high or low. But we got to break 21.3 for monthly consolidation to even be underway. If we confirm a monthly uptrend and get over 25.2, I would definitely be interested in having a long position. But again, it's just being extremely picky because of the fees and because of the lack of good trading websites in the US, I'm just being driven to stocks. And stocks are fitting the bill as far as giving me what I need, opportunity to profit, better liquidity, better dollar volume, zero fees. And I took, when there was significant fear after FTX, I thought there was a 1% chance anything could happen to Coinbase, but that was enough for me to just take my money off of it. And so I took 80% of my crypto funds and put them in my stock account, which is something I've been doing since 2017. I've just been funneling the profit into real estate and into my stock account out of crypto. And again, I got my long-term no-touch crypto, and I've got some funds to trade crypto in case anything happens in the middle of the night or whatever. But honestly, until I have a suitable place to trade, give me the tools that I need as a full-time trader, and then I'll be back to trading crypto actively. I can make excuses to trade without the tools that I need when it's euphoria environment, when there's opportunity in crypto that is not present in other places. But if that is not the case, I'm not going to be forcing it to try and trade crypto when there are better alternatives. STX, weekly consolidation underway. We're going to look for a weekly high or low. The retracement is already significant enough to be keeping an eye out for a potential equilibrium over 50% retracement. Are we daily oversold yet? No. Are we 12-hour oversold yet? No. So keeping an eye out for 12-hour oversold conditions to be looking for a weekly high or low. But it's all bears. 4-hour EMA 12, 4-hour downtrend. Bears in absolute complete control of this chart. So I wouldn't be trying to catch this falling knife. I would be waiting for some kind of indication to, again, if I'm looking counter short-term trends, I have zero problem missing a move. Give me a 10% bounce without me. Give me a 20% bounce without me. From falling knife, go 20%. All right, you got my attention, bulls. I'll scout the high or low. I have a level to play off of. I don't have to be scaling in and not have a stop loss and have to base it off dollar amount and I don't have to do any of that. I'll have a level to play off of once you prove something to me. Give me a reason to be looking bullish. But currently in free fall, we're probably closing in on a 4-hour super stack here. Probably need the 15 minutes not oversold enough. We would need another leg down. But not far from a 4-hour super stack. But the bears do have control of every time frame on STX from the daily on down. OP, daily bear flag confirming with a lack of follow through. Let's see if we can shape up a 12-hour potential falling wedge. Got 3 touches there. Got 3 touches there. It's just another one worth watching for. 207 is a support level. And it's a potential falling wedge as the bear break lacks follow through. Going to be looking for a 12-hour lower high next bounce. But again, it is a potential falling wedge. Dot. 12-hour grind down. I don't like it at, well, maybe from here. I don't like how this is a flat sloping line and this is a very steep one. That's not the kind of falling wedge I want to draw. I want the angles of the lines to be, I've never said this before, so I need to think about what I'm trying to say. I want the angles of the lines of the wedge, obviously they're not parallel, but to be less. If they were a triangle, it wouldn't be obtuse, it would be more acute. To be, what am I trying to say? I want the lines to be closer to being parallel. So again, I really like the Gala example as we're testing the support right now. I just like how nice and clean it looks. But you can see how narrow this is. It's nice and narrow, it's getting tight and constricting. It's not a, the slopes of the lines are similar versus, more flat and really steep. I don't like that kind of look on a wedge. So what were we talking about? Dot. So I don't like that. You can draw that downtrending support line and keep an eye on it, but. So we lost the weekly support. The monthly consolidation is underway. And again, the only hope for crypto alts down here is a monthly higher low and then a break of resistance to confirm a monthly uptrend. So bulls must hold 422. Not sure. What about KDA is looking good? Not from a bull perspective. It's doing the same thing as everybody else. We're testing 9.8 support. We broke it with no follow through, but we just lost weekly support. We have monthly consolidation underway. KDA divided by BTC does have relative strength over the last couple of weeks. That just means it's not dropping as hard as Bitcoin, but still clear downtrends on the daily, 12-hour, 4-hour, etc. Is the Bitcoin bottom in, do I think? Honestly, I have no idea. There's a setup I'm watching for in the broader market. I talked about it in the long-term, was it a long-term crypto? It was. I did a long-term crypto video. Watch it. I'm just going to find this video real quick because I'm going to do a longer term video this weekend as well, I think. But there's a scenario where I see, the monthly time frame for the dollar and for the S&P 500 and for crypto, I see the bull path forward. Doesn't mean it's going to happen, but I can see, how it would all shape up. Monthly lower high on the dollar, monthly inverse head and shoulders on the S&P 500, setting up a monthly trend change in crypto. Had some of the most views in a while. 1,167 crypto videos, and that's not all of them. Bear with me, I'll post this here in just a moment. Where was it? I'll do another one this weekend. There it is. So watch this, because it's still relevant. I mean, not a whole lot has changed from here. Some of it's developed a little bit like what I'm watching for. For example, in this video, I was talking about we're watching for the dollar to set a monthly high or low. There is no indication that it is happening right now, but we know it's the most likely scenario. We're watching for it. Well, now we have the monthly high or low set. So that would be a nice little lesson to go back and watch it, see how things have shaped up then, because things are shaping up in that potential way. So long story short, if the dollar is going to confirm a monthly downtrend, and if the S&P 500 is going to confirm a monthly inverse head and shoulders, then the bottom is likely in. And Bitcoin would likely form a monthly uptrend, and then we zoom out to the 4-month and we watch how much bounce follow through do we get towards 30, 40,000. If the S&P 500 does not set a monthly high or low, if the dollar does not set a monthly low or high, then that is not the setup, but I'm watching for it. I'm looking to add to my long exposure in stocks, crypto, whatever, when I am confident that the dollar is setting a monthly low or high. And I've been waiting for that because I know the monthly high or low is coming, so that helped me hold off from long entries. NVDA is going for it. Come on, you jerks. QQQ's a little extended. We might need 15-minute consolidation. The hourly high or low is set, so that part, again, I had no confidence that the hourly high or low was being set on QQQ when I made my NVDA entry, but I just knew the most likely scenario where if the bulls are going to set an hourly high or low, they're going to do it shortly, meaning soon. All right. Short of the NASDAQ at the low of the day and in deep red, stop losses. You gotta use stop losses. If you're not gonna use stop losses, you're not gonna trade for any significant amount of time. It's just really that simple. And you gotta learn that lesson, and this is you learning that lesson. You have to put a stop loss. I posted a Twitter video this morning talking about your check yourself level. You need a level that invalidates your thesis. And usually that's your stop loss level. But again, now you're subject to the whim of your emotions if you do not have a stop loss. And that's why you will sell at tops and you will sell at bottoms and buy at tops if you are not trading off of an actionable game plan. Have to use stops. Suggestions for a stock trading website program depends where you're located. Fidelity, TDA. If you're international, it's Interactive Brokers is usually the most popular one. I gotta wrap this up here. You can trade futures with less than $25,000. There's no day trading. There's no pattern day trader minimum for futures. So if I were just learning and I had less than 25,000, I'd probably try and learn futures first, because that's not limiting in that way. But futures will blow up your account if you do not use stop losses. So you have to have discipline. And generally, if you have less than $25,000, that means you're a newer trader. And generally that means you haven't gotten that discipline down yet. So it's a recipe for disaster, going with small accounts to futures, because it just takes one trade. I've seen good traders trade well for years and one day blow up their account. You lose control one day and it's all over. And that's extremely dangerous. 81 likes, a few more please. Check out that long-term analysis. We'll keep an eye on Bitcoin. Again, it's got to stay in the spotlight. The 4-hour uptrend has to be the same on both pairings for the bulls to stay strong and confident. We'll see how NVDA plays out into the close here. I appreciate you watching. Don't forget to do good things. Check out the Instagram and the TikTok and the Twitter. You can just Google TheChartGuys Instagram. It'll come up. And we'll see you soon.